Hi, this is Lee Forsyth from the Headwaters Science Center in Bemidji, Minnesota. Thanks for tuning in today. If you're right here with us live at 3:30 on a Wednesday in Bemidji, Minnesota. Today, I'm reading you this book, The Adventures of the Little Nut Brown Hare. And today, the name of the show. I'm entitling it, When is a Hare a Rabbit? Or When is a Rabbit a Hare? As we read the story, I want you to think about what they say about this particular story. What are they saying in this story about the characters? And compare them back to rabbits. Now, who's happy about this choice? Orion's happy about this choice. The only characters in the story, the only ones, are hares. When is a rabbit a hare and when is a hare a rabbit? Is what we're going after, and I will explain some of that answer at the very end. By the way, The Adventures of the Little Nut Brown Hare has 4 chapters, and I'm thinking today I will read all 4. So sit back and get ready to enjoy the first chapter, The Hiding Tree. Little Nut Brown Hare, that's this character right here. By the way, you've seen your first clue for when a rabbit is a hare and when is a hare a rabbit. You've seen your first clue. Little Nut Brown Hare woke up one morning and could hardly believe his eyes. His favorite tree, the hiding tree, was lying on the ground. He called it the hiding tree because it was hollow inside and you could easily hide in there. Not anymore, though. There had been a big storm in the night. Boy, Orion likes this story. You can just tell. He's even turned towards it going, I think I'm going to watch the entire thing. Big Nut Brown Hare scrambled through the roots and stood on the trunk of the tree. This is a long ways up, thought Little Nut Brown Hare. With a hop and a skip, Big Nut Brown Hare went to the other end and peeped through the leaves. Are you coming up? He said. No, it's too high, said Little Nut Brown Hare, and off he went to look for interesting things on the ground. In the afternoon, he played hide and seek with Big Nut Brown Hare. When it was his turn to hide, he came once more to where his favorite tree, the hiding tree, was lying on its side. That would be the best hiding place ever. Up through the roots he scrambled. I could go over and hide in the leaves, he thought. Big Nut Brown Hare was counting. In a moment, he would sing out, Here I come, ready or not. With some careful hops, then a bit of a wobble, and one last good jump, Little Nut Brown Hare went along the trunk of the tree to hide among the branches and the leaves. Now it was important to be absolutely still. Have you played hide and seek before? It is. One of the tricks of hide and seek is once you're there, you need to sit absolutely still. Big Nut Brown Hare looked here and there and everywhere, and so he thought, guess what, Spencer? He's nibbling away on the snack you brought. Just so you know, Orion doesn't often eat in front of people. He just is kind of like that. He doesn't eat, but Spencer brought him an apple just before we started, and here he is on camera. Okay, back to the story. Anyway, Big Nut Brown Hare looked here and there and everywhere, and so he thought, I give up, he shouted at last. You must be in the best hiding place ever. Little Nut Brown Hare came tumbling down the hiding tree. Big Nut Brown Hare was amazed, but I thought you were afraid to go up there. I'm not afraid anymore, said Little Nut Brown Hare, laughing. Story number 2. Or do you call these chapters? Either way, we're going to read them all. On Cloudy Mountain, Little Nut Brown Hare and Big Nut Brown Hare set out one morning to climb Cloudy Mountain. They liked to be up high and look down at the fields, and some of the plants that grew on the Cloudy Mountain were very tasty. After lunch, Little Nut Brown Hare played in the waterfalls among the rocks, and then, better still, he found some dandelions, just ready for blowing. 1, 2, 3. Half the seed head was gone. That's a good blowing, said Big Nut Brown Hare. 1, 2, 3. Little Nut Brown Hare did an even better blow. Away went the dandelion seeds, almost every one. And there were so many more all ready to be blown. Big Nut Brown Hare had noticed something, however. The clouds were coming farther and farther down the mountain. Soon they wouldn't be able to see a thing. We have to go home now, he said. I'm still blowing, said Little Nut Brown Hare. I know, said Big Nut Brown Hare, but the clouds are coming and we have to go. I wonder if it is that way. Which one of those words do you think they would have said the loudest, given the most emphasis? And we have to go. Or, and we have to go. Or maybe it's, and we have to go. You're spoiling all my fun, Little Nut Brown Hare was thinking. But the mist was getting thicker every moment. Which way was up? Which way was down? All of a sudden, Big Nut Brown Hare was right there beside him. Come with me now, he said. Together they ran down the mountain, out of the clouds and into the sunny day below. Well, that certainly was an adventure, said Big Nut Brown Hare. I'm sorry I had to stop your fun like that. You nearly got lost, said Little Nut Brown Hare. Nearly, smiled Big Nut Brown Hare, glancing up once more at Cloudy Mountain. But what matters is I found you. Aha! Story number 3. The Far Field. Early one morning, Little Nut Brown Hare ran all the way to the far field. He called it the far field because it was farther than the hiding tree, over the river and beyond Cloudy Mountain. He discovered an interesting hole beneath the tree and wondered what was in there. Come away, said a voice. It's best not to bother with holes in the ground. Another clue. When is a hare a rabbit, and when is a rabbit a hare? That was another clue. It was Big Nut Brown Hare watching over him. So Little Nut Brown Hare came away from the hole and jumped over some toadstools instead. There was a pond nearby. The leaves on the water plants looked like stepping stones across the water. No, no, said a voice. The water might be deep. Come away. It was Big Nut Brown Hare telling him to be careful. So Little Nut Brown Hare skipped away from the pond and found another place to play. Then, in the thickness of the meadow grass, he discovered birds' nests. 4 speckled eggs laid there, lovely and smooth. Come away, someone whispered. Birds don't like anyone near their nests. Once again, it was Big Nut Brown Hare who was close by. Together they hopped away from the nest with its precious eggs to search the meadow grass for juicy plants to eat. Later that day, Little Nut Brown Hare went back to the interesting hole beneath the trees. Still, he couldn't see a thing in there, which made him wonder all the more. What would be down a hole like that? He looked around and saw no one else. He was all alone. I think I might go down there, thought Little Nut Brown Hare. How does that make you feel, Orion? I think I might go down there. Then a voice said, No, dark holes are dangerous. This time it was his own little voice inside his head. It was telling him, be careful. So Little Nut Brown Hare came away from the hole and chased some daddy long legs through the far field instead. And story number 4, coming home. Little Nut Brown Hare and Big Nut Brown Hare were wandering home at the end of the day. Can you guess the place I like best in the whole world? Said Little Nut Brown Hare, who loved to play games. Your favorite place? Asked Big Nut Brown Hare. Yes, in the world. His favorite place in the world. Good time to pause. Name of this show today is When is a Hare a Rabbit and When is a Rabbit a Hare? And this is our 4th out of 4 stories. So, what's his favorite place? Big Nut Brown Hare began to think. He knew that Little Nut Brown Hare liked lots of places, but which one did he like the best? Is it Cloudy Mountain? Nope, that's too high. Sounding a little like Goldilocks and the Three Bears now. On they went, hopping home together. Big Nut Brown Hare was thinking so hard that he didn't see where he was going. Wet feet, he said. Ah, is your favorite place the river? No, said Little Nut Brown Hare, laughing. That's too wet. On they went hopping until Big Nut Brown Hare suddenly stopped. He just had a good idea. Is your favorite place across the river? Could it be the far field? Nope, that's too far. On they ran quite quickly now, for the sun was sinking fast. Then Little Nut Brown Hare spotted something. Then Big Nut Brown Hare spotted something that made him think. Do we play games in this place you're thinking of? Could it be the hiding tree? No, but my favorite place does have some leaves. Goodness me, thought Big Nut Brown Hare. Not Cloudy Mountain, not the river, not the far field. Some leaves, but not the hiding tree. Well, I think you'll have to tell me, he said at last. We're here. Home is my best place of all. Well, of course, said Big Nut Brown Hare. I should have guessed. The early stars were shining ahead. Big Nut Brown Hare settled Little Nut Brown Hare into his bed of leaves, when soon he closed his eyes. And where you are, whispered Big Nut Brown Hare, is the best place in the whole world for me. End of the story. All right, so the answer to the question that we've been searching for is, when is a hare a rabbit, and when is a rabbit a hare? This is a good place to start. So take a look at this picture. Take a look at this picture, and take a look at Orion. What's the first thing you notice that's different about the two? Because I said, when is a rabbit a hare and when is a hare a rabbit? Yeah, it's the ears. Just look at the size of the ears, and this hare has much longer ears. Along with longer ears come longer feet, longer legs, and longer everything, including much larger, much heavier. And so that's the very first difference that shows up in the story. And so the answer to when is a hare a rabbit and when is a rabbit a hare, well, it wasn't a trick question. The answer is never. These are two completely different species. They're completely different animals. Like if you stepped out and there were two different animals, it just happened to be in the exact same place. These are two completely different animals. And they call them species. They're completely different species. Well, there are similarities. So then you'd say, well, but they're a lot alike. They are a lot alike, just like many other animals have other animals they're alike. So what are the other differences that weren't quite as obvious? One of them is rabbits love to go underground. Rabbits even dig holes. They live underground. So whereas the little hare and even the big hare said, nope, I'm not going under that tree. I'm not going into that hole. That was another good clue, because a hare would not want to live in a hole under the ground. That would be a real situation right there. Here's the one that's the most obvious, and it's when they're first born. Yeah, when they're first born, a hare is born with their hair. They're ready for life. In every way, they're ready for life. As soon as they've recovered from the birth they've just had, they're ready to get up and start running around. Whereas a rabbit will spend a significant amount of time being kind of a pinky, kind of a waiting to start life. just a baby without any hair yet. And then as they grow older, another difference shows up. And this one did not show up in the book. And that's this coloring of this rabbit, Orion. That's the color he will have every day for hopefully the whole rest of his life. That's what happens with him. As soon as the hair comes out, it stays just the way it is. With a hare changes its color based on what season it is. So if a hare lives up, let's say north, like Bemidji, Minnesota, if a hare was living here, he would want to be white in the winter and some other color in the summer. And yes, even different amounts of hair, just so that he could survive in our cold winters. So when is a hare a rabbit? And when is a rabbit a hare? That answer is never. Thanks for tuning in today. The Headwaters Science Center does this every single day. 3:30 on Wednesdays is when Orion is the star of the show. By the way, Spencer, he's still saying thank you very much. We should do this every single Wednesday. Have a little snack just in case the story gets a little long, then I can eat a little of the snack during that whole time. I think maybe you're right, Spencer. We're open 9:30 to 5 o'clock Monday through Saturday, and 1 o'clock, 5 o'clock on Sunday. Say if you saw yesterday's show, it was absolutely fantastic. One of our new staff people, Carl, he was showing you Jeannie the snake. So we archive these shows the moment they're done. This one is about to be done, and I'll say goodbye. And once that's done, you can rewatch this show all you want on YouTube or on Facebook or on Twitch TV. But you could also go back and watch any of our shows. We've got hundreds of them now. I'm not exaggerating. There are hundreds. And if you go to yesterday's show, you won't have to go very far. Just go find it. It was all about Jeannie the boa constrictor, the ball python. Jeannie the ball python was yesterday's star of the show.